Hey everyone, welcome back to the Indie Basketball Podcast. This is where indie rock meets the NBA's finest. And today I have on the podcast the folks from Bayonet Records, and I have Katie Garcia and Evan Welsh. So thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like it's
We're so
been
happy.
a long time coming. I feel like we've kind of talked about the idea of doing this for honestly probably over a year now. Um,
Yeah.
but it's super exciting. I know we've had some interactions before too with people that bands that you work with and whatnot, um, and it's really cool to have label folks who are also hoop heads. So that's cool.
Yes. Yeah. This feels like a
Um,
podcast kind of built for us. So
totally.
Yeah,
And
100%.
most people feel that way. I feel like.
yeah.
So first things first. I just want to kind of have people get to know the label a little bit. Like, how did Bayonet really start? And I guess, Katie, that's a question for you.
Yeah. Uh, Bayonet started a little over 10 years ago. Last year we celebrated our 10-year anniversary, which is crazy. Um, it started when me and my husband, Dustin from Beach Fossils, had just been talking about it for a while. He had always wanted to have his own label ever since he was a kid. He used to make his own cassette tapes and like write different names of like the labels, like imaginary labels that were his label. And then he and I like met because I was working at Capture Tracks, which was the label he was on. And so I kind of, this was something that I wanted to do. I enjoyed, working at a label. And so then it just kind of felt like the perfect timing. And we were like, all right, let's do it. Let's start our own thing. And so I left Captured and we got it together and decided to make it happen. And now we're here 10 years later, which is wild.
Yeah, and honestly, it's crazy because I always think like and I'd like to know your perspective on it. Like, it feels like starting a label is like such a scary, daunting thing because it's like in my perspective right now, I'm like, if I wanted to start a label right now, like I wouldn't know where to begin because it feels like logistically there's so many different things that have to happen, and am I correct in
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one of the first things we did was reach out to distributors and, Captured had been already working with Secretly Distribution. And we really liked working with them. So they were the first people we reached out to. And, shout out to them because they really took a chance on us. We were just like, we have 3 artists so far: Beach Fossils, Frankie Cosmos, and Jerry Paper. That's what
Solid
we
start.
got. And I think maybe we had Warehouse at that time too. I can't remember, but it was early days, and we were just like, "This is what we got." And they were like, "You know what? We believe in you guys, and we'd love to take you on as a, distribution client." And so yeah, I'm really glad that worked out. But yeah, there's so many things you have to think about when you're starting a label, like a lot of boring stuff that people don't really like. You gotta like register and get your tax EIN number. Like that's okay. You have to like register as an LLC or like an S corp or a sole partnership if it's just one person. Like it's yeah. There's a lot of stuff.
I'm sure, yeah, and it's like distribution is not even just like this. It's just the start of it too, and it's
Yeah,
also just
but
like I'm sure having connections is also just a major thing, which you seem to already have had coming from a label pre-existing.
yeah, that helped a lot. That helped a lot. I think it would have been a lot harder if we had just, you know, just gone into it
Right.
without me
Sure.
having any experience in the label world. That would have been a whole different ball game. But um, yeah, we had some kind of foundation beforehand, which was nice.
Yeah. Evan, how long have you been with Bayonet?
I've been at Bayonet now 3 years,
Okay,
3 full years, I think.
nice.
Yeah, I was working at labels previously, more like experimental and jazz and kind of like noise labels. And I was very lucky to have known a few people who had worked at Bayonet previously. I went to college with a couple of people who kind of also ended up in New York and also interning and working at Bayonet. So I had known at least of Bayonet and the people there kind of peripherally for a few years. Um, yeah, when time came when they were looking for people to hop in, I had a nice in already.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Um, and I guess this is a kind of a question I have for both you guys. Is I know like music industry as a whole is so like complex, changing all the time. How do you guys? Because I feel like Katie, since you've started the label, it has gone fully into like streaming world. How is it? How have you guys found like the operation within streaming versus physical versus even helping artists tour and whatnot?
I mean, Katie can probably speak more to just the long arc towards this kind of nightmare that we are in now. But I feel like, I mean, it's a hard place to navigate right now. Not that it's not always been a hard industry to navigate, but there are kind of fewer avenues like every day for not only labels but the artists, especially on those labels, to be able to like make this a career, make this a living. um and the streaming like the market share of streaming just continues to grow seemingly every day, and there's also every day it seems like people kind of take a step back from it, or bigger kind of bricks and people kind of step out, um enough to make a huge difference. I don't know, but it is heartening every now and then to see people to be like, yeah, we're just going to kind of go back and we're going to sell records and hopefully you'll come with us.
Yeah. I mean, just to add to that, I feel like the industry is always changing. Like from when I started, I remember like the big thing was like iTunes and like
Yeah,
digital downloads. And like at the time, our biggest concern was like, oh, like we can't let anything leak because like if a record leaks, people are just gonna stream or like gonna download it for free, and then they're
right.
not gonna buy the record,
People are gonna
and then
torrent it.
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna torrent it exactly. And so then like iTunes came around and it seemed like people had kind of like put a lid on, people weren't like getting there weren't as many leaks and people were actually like buying things on iTunes, and so we were like, okay, this is like a new thing. But then that started changing, and then streaming came around, and as kind of almost like an answer to people who were like, well, like we're either gonna just torrent your shit for free, or like, here's a couple of cents for
Yeah,
you
right.
just stream
Yeah.
it, I guess. So that's like kind of where we are now. And I
Yeah.
think that that's like there's always going to be challenges, and I think our jobs are always just to try to find unique ways to grow the artists that we work with and to incentivize people to support them in unique ways that don't necessarily involve digital media all the
Yeah.
time.
And I think to go on that too, like you asked about the touring aspect, I think that has become a really big part of what we do too. I mean, not all of our artists have booking agents or things like that. We obviously are trying to get everybody a booking agent all the time, because it's a lot of work. But where a lot of these artists are still making some money, if there's any to be had, is out on the road and selling merch directly to people. And also to, I think, just as a label, we've been trying to make more kind of like in-person events and try and taking things a little offline. maybe in part just for our own sanity, but I think it's also too it helps it helps kind of re-engage like the community aspect of music, which is, I think, in part what we all got on into it for, or what we found in it. And so I think we've been also really trying to kind of go back to that in a
Yeah.
lot of ways. And yeah, just find other avenues that streaming, at least at the current moment, is what it is a little bit. That finding these other ways to navigate around it.
And honestly, that's why, I love kind of like, interacting with you guys, and like, because I like to try and highlight, artists as much as I can, and I feel like partnerships like this hopefully are like a good way to get more people into music that isn't,
Yeah, totally.
Taylor Swift and major label things that everyone knows. Like, I
Right,
feel
right.
like cultivation of music and like not falling into the algorithm is super important right now.
Yeah.
Katie, you had some time at a major label as well, though. How does that experience compare?
Who?
Loaded
Honestly, it
question.
was a great. No, no, no. I love talking about it. Actually, um, I feel like overall it was a great experience because I learned so much. You know, in my time in the music industry had solely been at independent labels, Capture Tracks, Bayonet, Secretly Group. So it was like all in varying degrees of sizes of indie labels, but all indie labels. So yeah, being at Capitol was, really interesting. I just learned a completely different side of the industry. Definitely a lot more bureaucratic because it's a bigger system. So like that was another thing that I was like having to navigate. But it also gave me a cool opportunity to meet a lot of people I would have otherwise never met. I got to engage with artists in a completely different way. I feel like for the most part, indie artists are, they just kind of, everyone is scrappy and everybody also just kind of knows exactly what they want to do. They're like, I'm going to self-produce this, or I'm going to work with this producer, or whatever, like, whereas at the major, I felt like I actually had a little bit more agency in terms of like digging in on the creative and actually like being like, hey, this is who I think you should work with. Like maybe have a meeting with this person and see what you think, feel it out. So that was really fun.
That's cool.
I have to say. And so, in that sense, I feel like I got to use this like muscle that I didn't even know I had. And it just, yeah, it gave me a really different perspective. There were definitely things about working there that I didn't love. I felt like, there's a lot more, like people are a lot more, can be more territorial or like protective of their work there. Whereas I feel like at independent labels, everybody's just like helping each other, supporting each other.
One team, one dream.
Yeah, so it was like so that was very different. That was very different.
Sure.
I tried to be even though, there were some people that were very guarded, like I tried to be, as collaborative as I could be. And then I did eventually find like, oh, okay, like these are the people that are like down to like work together and do stuff together. And then like I was like, okay, and then there are people who like are like the lone wolves, who want to do their own thing, and I respect that. But yeah, so it was just, so that was really different. But overall, I honestly have to say it was a great experience, and I ended up meeting a lot of really cool people. I was honestly surprised by like how many cool people I met over there. But yeah, very different system.
Sure. Cool. I'm curious, when it comes to Bayonet, are there any artists that, maybe at moments you had, talks with that you're like, oh, I wish we got to work with them. I wish we got to sign them. Is there anyone like that?
Oh my God. I mean,
the list is endless. This
all
is
the time. All the time. Are you kidding?
Right.
There are so many people like throughout my career that I'm like, oh my God, like,
You're so
I
close.
well, Katie's list, I can't even imagine. Katie's list is not only insane with names, but is much longer than mine. I feel like.
I'm kind of like, oh my God, let me see if I can like think of a few. I mean, wait, like, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna start going back to captured tracks. One of my biggest things that I was like, we should sign this. This song has really got something. And I was like trying to convince Sniper to sign it, and he was just like, no, like, I don't know. He just like wasn't into it. Was Always. They sent me "Marry Me, Archie," and I was like, this song is a hit, and I fucking knew it. And he just, I don't know, we just didn't see eye to eye on that one. But and then when they ended up, becoming successful, I was like, good for them. I was like,
Well,
I
you know what the
I saw
sign
that.
is that Molly Rankin is a hooper as well.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go. Should have known.
love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that was one.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of other ones. I
Sure.
mean, there's
Yeah.
also some people who like we reached out to, like, I was like, I love this. This is so great, and then we reached out to management, and they were kind of like, oh, whatever, but there's a lot of people like that, but that I was like flagged really early on. Some of the crazier ones when I was at Secretly were Steve Lacy, Billie Eilish, Lil Peep.
Yeah.
I wrote like a whole like essay about Lil Peep and why I thought he was like very culturally important, and like broke down like the whole like goth boy clique, and yeah, anyway, and I was very sad when he passed, and I got like a flood of text messages from my friends because they all knew I was a fan. But yeah, so those are some of like the bigger like ones that I was like, I knew it.
For sure.
But there's like way more to, I don't know. Alex G was one that when I first started at Secretly, that was one that John Coombs and I really wanted to sign really early on. And we were both really bummed when that one didn't come through. But I'm happy to see that he's so successful. He's such a great songwriter.
For sure. Evan, anyone off the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. I feel like, well, way back for when I was working at this label called Northern Spy, they also did a bunch of like PR and other stuff. So a bunch of things would come through that we were working on. I had been a fan of like the Water from Your Eyes and also Lorelei and Thanks for Coming, like kind of the whole universe there, kind of since, I don't know, like 2016, 2017. And somebody else's song came through and whatever that was in like 2019. And it ended up being on Wharf Cat, which is, a homie label and friends like that. But I remember flagging this to the people I worked for at the time, and they're like, "Nah, I don't know. I don't know if that's really got anything to it." I mean, honestly, too, This Is Lorelei's another one that, it just we talked about. Nate's a friend, and we talked with, and it didn't work out. Unfortunately, I mean, I love to see a friend and like a guy win. Honestly, um, I wish it could have been me that got him the win, but that's okay. And then, I mean, also too, like a smaller act, like a band like just like the
Yeah.
symbol. I remember hearing that stuff really early and was a fan of their other project, Brittle Brian, for a
Okay.
while, and like being like, this record is awesome back when their first record was kind of circulating, and the boss at the time was just like, yeah, the name is stupid. That's never going to work. And I was like, all right, fine. I guess fair enough.
It's
And,
they
now
just don't get it, man. It's
yeah.
it's
I
the whole
know.
like
That
Y2K
also slipped
revival.
through yeah, they also
Yeah.
slipped through our fingers too. The struggle with them with Bayonet, because this
Yeah.
was pre Evan being at Bayonet, but was that we just couldn't get him on a phone call.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. They're hard to
we
reach.
it was just hard. They could only do calls at like 7 or 8 p.m. and at the time I think my daughter was like smaller. Like I must
Yeah.
have she must have been a newborn, so I was like I can only do like during the day when like someone is like watching her, otherwise like I'm on mom duty. And it was just
Yeah. I
which is
think
such a bummer because I'm such a fan of the music. But yeah, just I was like, oh, and then it made me nervous because I was like, oh, if this is what it's going to be like working with them, I don't, maybe it's not a good fit long term. But I wish
yeah.
them all the best, and I'm still such a
Yeah.
fan.
Love those records. I mean, and then I think the most famous Bayonet one might be there's definitely early demos of Claro sitting in our
Oh,
inbox.
duh! Oh my God, yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. That was
Um,
so close to really happening
yeah.
too. Yeah, yeah, Claro for sure.
She's really
And
interesting
she's
too,
even
because like
talked about it in interviews too. But yeah,
yeah,
that was really close to happening. And
because she hasn't really done
um,
like a ton of like albums. Like it's
Right.
been like very
Yeah.
slow singles, like even like an EP, but like she's very slow to release, and I don't know if that's comes down to labels or if it's just like her songwriting. But yeah, it's interesting.
yeah, well, happy for her and all of her success.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout out
We're
Clara.
happy. We're happy for
Yeah,
everybody
and we're
that made
still
it.
friends. We're still
Sure.
buddies. We're still buddies.
Great.
But yeah, yeah, that's definitely. Oh my God, yeah. How could I forget that one? That's a big one.
Uh, are there? I mean, you talked about Are there any like non-label artists right now that you're specifically loving?
Also, so many.
A lot, but I've been well. It's funny because I've been really liking this band, but it actually has a member of a band who used to be on Bayonet. So I don't know if this is like kind
It
of
counts.
is that okay? But I've really been liking Sword 2. The band. Not I saw that there's like some kid who's like a rapper, like an emo rap, actually like pseudo Lil Peep vibe.
Okay.
Who also it's like called like Swords 2, and I was like,
Yeah.
what? How are there two things like with this name? But Sword 2, the band from Georgia. Really been loving their new record, and Mari, who's one of the singers in the band, used to play in this other band called Kibi James, who were on Bayonet. Um, so yeah, I've really been liking their record a lot.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm trying to think back to on a lot of the stuff I was listening to making my year end lists and all of
Mhm.
this. I feel like just off the top of my head, I feel like um I mean, this duo Titanic, which is the duo of Mabi Frati and Hector Tosta, are two artists I really love. They put out a record last year called Hagen, which is just like unbelievable. And I think they're just like some of the most interesting like pop and rock music writers out right now. I mean, I have like my own biases. I also manage people, so like I
Yeah.
have a lot of other like uh external things that I'm like always listening to. But that's a big one. A band from I think they're from Phoenix. I want to say. You don't quote me on that because I'm not sure if it's correct. But Corridos Ketamina is another band that I've really been liking. They put out a record last year that's really great. That's another one that feels like the Lil Peep influence definitely feels present. Feels like kind of like that and like some
Making a
future stuff in
comeback, I
there
think.
for sure. Yeah, so I mean those are stuff, and then yeah, I think like a lot of the folks that I work on the management side, like Wendy Eisenberg and Our Lucy Liu, Oh Young, like all these people also have like a bunch of records they're working on or just put stuff out that I feel like I just spend a lot of my time with.
Awesome. As far as for me, like early this year, already some good releases out. I don't know if
Totally.
you've listened to the new Dry Cleaning album, but that one is very
Hmm.
good too. And I
Hmm.
got to see them last year, which was really awesome. They opened for Godspeed You Black Emperor in a
Hmm.
cemetery in
Hmm.
Chicago, and that was so cool.
Incredible.
In a cemetery.
Yeah, they do.
Amazing.
It's through the Empty Bottle in Chicago, and they do
Oh yeah.
I think it's like twice a year they pick artists to do in the cemetery, and it's like everyone comes out and it's like when they do it in the park.
Amazing.
So
It's so
sick.
cool.
Wait, is it the Empty Bottle that's closing? Isn't there like a venue in Chicago that's closing?
Empty bottles ain't going nowhere.
God
Okay,
bless.
thank God. I feel like I saw though that there was some venue in Chicago that was closing.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Not
Are we projecting our own New York woes onto
isn't
Maybe.
Baby's All Right
strong city
closing?
of Chicago? Say that again?
Is
No,
Baby's All Right closing, or am I going crazy?
No. Babies
no,
is fine. Babies is fine.
Okay,
Music
they're
Hall of
fine.
Williamsburg is closing.
that's
So
yeah,
that's
yeah, okay,
yeah.
What is?
yeah.
Wait, what
Babies
is?
would be tragic.
Yeah.
Music Hall.
Yeah.
Music Hall. Yeah, Music Hall of Williamsburg is closing, which is quite sad.
Yeah, I think when I lived there, I saw Soccer Mommy there with Rat Boys. That was a good show.
Love Soccer Mommy.
Yeah, Soccer Mommy's great. So a little thing I kind of had you guys think on beforehand. I usually do a thing called musician matchups where we're actually going to do the flip of it. Where I'd love for you to take some of your Bayonet artists and like who is like the NBA version, like what is their comparison? And I picked a couple
Evan,
artists.
Yeah. I have extensive notes here.
Great, great.
really, you like went in.
that
This is
that
all
I shared.
Evan, and
This is
it's
the type of
brilliant.
thought
He nailed
exercise that
it.
Awesome.
I really appreciate.
So
Um,
why don't
yeah.
we begin with someone who actually did a half court session this past year, which is Smut.
Yeah, Smut for me, I broke it down into like a contemporary and an all timer.
Wow.
You know, because some felt like it could work for either. For
Sure.
contemporary, I was thinking Anthony Edwards. I think it's the Midwest connection. Obviously, I know Anthony's not Midwestern, but like there's the Midwest connection. I feel like they're a versatile band that play both ways.
Hmm.
Uh, and I also think just like an electric, exciting, like the music really feels energetic, highlight moments, big moments, and just like that energy. They're young, they're funny. I think that it fits the vibe of them, I think, well. I think so that was the contemporary. I think just that Ant Edwards type of excitement I think suits the music really well. And for the all timer, that felt to me like Derrick Rose, but like pre knee Derrick
Ooh, yeah.
Rose. That, and I mean obviously, and
How
that one
dare
like
you?
Chicago. Well, like look, Chicago. There,
Mm-hmm.
it's out of respect. Truly. Um, Knicks legend Derrick Rose. I
Of
have to pay
course.
my respects. Um, but that felt like it had that same sort of like athleticism and energy that I get from the band. That I felt represented in those two players.
Cool.
Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah.
What NBA player do you think is Dirt Buyer?
So Dirt Buyer, and I'm doing a lot of comparisons. I think to the music and who I think the music kind of sounds like. And so for me, it felt kind of like direct, aggressive, like to the basket, dominating type player. So this, like, to me, that read Giannis,
Mm, okay.
but in like behind the scenes, Giannis kind of a silly, goofy guy, and Joe from Dirt Buyer similarly kind of like a silly, goofy guy. Um, and it just like kind of the aggression of the music mixed with that kind of the sweetness behind the scenes or the silliness behind the scenes read to me very Giannis, very Shaq, like that, like those types of people and players.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that in doing these, someone's like, oh yeah, I like the way I like this player, so I think I might like the band.
Right.
True.
What about Being Dead?
Being Dead, I feel like too I had a little bit more trouble with the bands because I'm like thinking about each of their people as well. So for Being Dead, the contemporary player, I had just an individual. I had KD. I had like bucket getter, hit maker. like these, you know, high numbers, a lot of songs on the records. They're hitting crazy percentages. Great online posters, both of them. Both kind of like great shit posters. They're kind
Great,
of
love it. They
melded in
have
that.
burner Twitters.
I mean, I don't even think they need burners. They do that. They do it straight up. They do it similarly to KD. They do it
KD has
for the
started
love.
to,
They
yeah.
do it. They do it for the love of the game.
Right.
You know, and similarly, yeah, like a lot of them playing live. Like they love the game. And for me, because being dead is, you know, I think of like a threesome. The all timer team for me were the Heatles. And I had Falcon is Braun, kind of running the operation. Cody is D Wade, and Nicole is Bosch.
Interesting.
I love that so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
I
That
don't.
one's a little bit of an ass kiss pick too. You know, I'm trying to keep a job, so
That's
I'm playing
good
angles
move.
here.
Good
You know,
move. Honestly, I'm to me, my first gut reaction with Being Dead is like, because they have such a vintagey sound.
Sure, yeah.
That I would have gone with, you know, maybe someone from like more of like even like the 70s or 80s, like an old school player.
Totally. Well, this is the other thing. It's like, yeah, are they old school? Are they shooting? Are they just pull up middies all game?
Right.
You know, that totally checks out. Yeah.
All right. How about May Simonis? Is it My Simonis?
May Simonis. Yeah.
May Simonis.
To me, so May's contemporary and all timer for me was Steph Curry, babyface assassin. Plays the game with like a lot of dexterity and a lot of precision, and kind of taking indie pop maybe kind of beyond what we had heard previously. Sure. Cool. Yeah. So a real floor general. She keeps the game moving. She's probably more organized than any of us are.
Yeah.
All right, the last one. I feel like Katie. I feel like you have to answer it.
Yeah, Katie, you have to answer
Beach
this
Fossils.
One. Okay, so for Beach Fossils, the contemporary is Kawhi. Two-way player, a lot of historic runs, and still has juice left in the tank when it's time.
Every now and then. Every now and then. Look, the last couple weeks, Kawhi has been showing out.
He has.
He has glimpses. He's still there.
And then all time, Larry Bird. Really good facilitator. Also like low key, kind of funny.
Sure.
Very legendary shit talker.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, so I feel like that. Also, he had a bad back, and Dustin also has a bad back. So they are brothers in that. Yeah, that's.
All right.
I'm curious when you asked, do you have your list of people? Because I would be fascinated to hear from someone, because like I'm approaching this a lot with like personalities too, and I'm curious if you have.
In the past, when I've done it, I usually flip it. So I'm like, all right, what band is this player? And I usually come with answers, but I think of things typically in like a career arc. Like, and it's like the story of the artist matches the story of. Sometimes, it's like, maybe it's just like a local thing. Maybe it's just like regional or whatever, but usually I think of things in like play style and career arc. But hey, if any of those comparisons sound great to you, I think maybe you should check out some of those bands.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. So you guys are based in New York, but Katie, you are not a Knicks fan. I know, Evan, you are a Knicks fan.
Yes.
Are you originally from the Miami area?
Yes, I am. Born and raised in the county of Dade. 305 for life. you know, whatever. I'm just gonna start shouting out like Pitbull and like Rick Ross and Trick Daddy lyrics and Dr. Luke and or not Dr. Luke, Uncle Luke. Two very different people.
Cut that.
One strangely like more problematic than the other, and it's not
Right.
the one that you think.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so no, but I'm from Miami. I grew up in Southwest Miami, and grew up. You know, both my parents were just like really into football and basketball growing up. So and baseball actually. So I just like grew up going to games, watching the games on TV, and then eventually I got older and just kept watching on my own. And then, and now I'm in a fantasy basketball league with a bunch of other music industry people, and it's really funny and fun.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Oh yeah, it's super fun. It's run by Malcolm Donaldson, who works over at Matador.
Oh, nice.
And it's definitely a lot of people from like Beggars, like people from Matador and 4AD. And then there's me, and there's a lot of like booking agents, people from High Road and Ground Control. It's a really fun crew, and it's nice to just like have like a place where, aside from because Evan and I, anytime there's like big stuff that happens in the NBA, we'll be like, did you see this? Oh my God. But I have like that group chat to always turn to and be like, and talk about like different trades that happen or crazy things that happen during games.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun to have like a little basketball community.
For sure. I've heard Malcolmus has a legendary musicians league.
That makes so much sense.
Oh,
yeah, like Malcolmus and like Doug March.
The Matador people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard that.
Okay.
We'll have to do some investigating.
Yeah, I'll investigate this. I was once in a fantasy football league with Big Boy of Outkast.
Ooh, very nice.
Was pretty fun. And also Japanese breakfast, but that was because I brought them in.
Sure.
But somehow, Big Boy
Did you win
from Outkast.
in your basketball league?
What's up?
Have you won in your basketball league?
I won last season, and I'm currently in first place right now. Nice. Much to the dismay of everybody in the league, because when I drafted this year, which is absolutely 100% true, I said I have done zero research. I didn't even do a mock draft. I was just like, I'm just gonna freewheel it. I'm just gonna pick up dudes who I think are good, and it is a strategy that somehow has worked out well for me, and I am in first place. So
very nice. Congrats.
Yeah.
I hope you keep it up. You know, we're almost halfway through. Evan, when the Knicks and the Heat play, how are things in the office?
Things are all right. I feel like when it's a playoff matchup, things get a little more testy.
That's when it gets tense.
Yeah, I feel like
the Knicks are my number 2 team. Like, just to clarify, I do, which a lot of people, I love to say this because I love making men angry. Sorry. But men in particular get so angry anytime I'm like, yes, I root for the Heat, but the second team I root for is actually the Knicks. I've lived in New York for 15 years.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's valid.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. And I like to root for the Knicks, you know?
It's good to have a local team.
So anyway, so when they play each other, especially in the playoffs, that's when my hometown allegiance comes out. But I still am very invested in how the Knicks are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Even if anything, if it just means if the Knicks if something really heinous happens, at least Katie knows like what to expect from me at work.
Sure.
So it's
A little
also
bit of
a good.
compassion.
It's a little bit of like, oh, if something really bad happens, I'm gonna have to account for this tomorrow. So I probably gotta
So the
keep an
question
eye on
is
it.
it reciprocated when something happens with the Heat?
Oh no, I don't care at all. No. I'm holding. I
Love it. You gotta
this
keep it
love doesn't go
alive.
both ways.
Yeah.
I have Katie is my connection to Miami, and I love them for that. But I
Yeah.
have no other ties.
Let's talk a little bit more about. Well, I'll talk to you guys one at a time about how you guys are feeling about your teams. We'll start with the Knicks because I've had a lot of Knicks talk lately on the podcast, and,
Yeah, there's a lot of
you
us.
guys are doing solid.
Yeah.
A little bit of a slump, I guess. Like coming out of after the win yesterday, how are you feeling going forward? Like we're almost at the All-Star break.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. This I mean it's weird. I'm sure other people have said this. It's a little weird to go or like to have a season where there are real expectations.
Yeah.
Um and this is kind of the first season of my lifetime where like the expectations really have been like, I mean, there's no real excuse not to do it this year. And so because of that, there is some conflicting feelings. I think they're like some of the defense stuff obviously is worrying, um, for concern, and I would love to see that get more fortified as we move deeper into the season. Because like some games where we're losing even though we put up 120 something points is not how you win a title.
Sure.
But generally, I think it's been good, and I think a lot of the frustrations and concerns from myself and a lot of Knicks fans have been because there are expectations now.
Yeah.
So there's when things go slightly awry, there's this thing of like, well, we should be, just absolutely 100% kicking ass. And so I do think there is some of that, but generally, I'm feeling good. At this point, I mean, I guess knock on wood, it seems like no crazy cat trade is going to happen. Like cat for Giannis isn't going to happen before the next handful of
Well,
weeks.
Dolan has since confirmed that you guys will not be making any big moves. Like
Right.
that.
So that seems like that ship has sailed. So I think a lot of that kind of like tension has hopefully eased a little bit. And I think as the season goes on, um, I'm couldn't be more thrilled to see more than 5 players play over the course of a game. That's really cool and something for the last handful of years I didn't know was possible. So that's great. And a lot of the people who are coming in too. I mean, like Deuce, Kolek, like off the bench are really been really, really big. And being able to keep those Mitch minutes at a not crazy number so he doesn't break is also great. So yeah, I'm feeling generally okay, but also because I'm a Knicks fan and a New York sports fan, and I'm sure as a Chicago sports fan, you also have some understanding of this. That there's does always feel like there might be something around the corner.
Of course.
And so I'm always at least quasi mentally prepared for that. But yeah, this is, I mean, the best Knicks team of my lifetime. So that it's exciting for
the
that.
Pistons will be a tough challenge, and
Yeah.
I hope it comes down to a conference finals versus them.
It's a tough matchup for us too. They
But I
play
think it's
us
even.
well.
It's pretty even. Like I think you guys have similar types of players in the same roles.
Totally.
I think like a cat beef stew matchup is like nice to watch, and I think that if that comes down to being the conference finals, I think that would be a really good series, especially because Tyrese obviously is not going to be playing, and the Pacers are in very much last place.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I wish him a healthy and slow recovery. I last season that man killed me.
Yeah.
There's people can attest to me in very public spaces at shows watching those games quite literally collapsing to the ground. So yeah, I'll see him next year, and you know what?
Yeah, sure.
Tatum too. Come back next year.
But the Tatum
Don't
has
rush
kept
it,
the
yeah.
Celtics without Tatum, the
Yeah.
Celtics are still in it, which is crazy.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not thrilled about only being a half a game above the
Yeah.
Celtics. That's
pretty wild.
not ideal. But you know, I really just have to believe that Jaylen Brown's hairline can only take them so far. Too many games, the sweat's gonna rub off.
Sure.
I can't believe in it.
You know what I love is that he just totally embraced it, and he is doing ads for a hairline company.
I give him credit. He turned into this kid.
Yeah.
It was either that or taking it all off, and
It's
so
it's too early for him to take it all off. It took LeBron many years.
Look, it worked for Derek White though. Derek White popped the top, and now look at Derek White.
Thank God.
He never had a world where he had a full head of hair.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But his hair was poofy. It was but then it was receding, and it was
very much it went back, but it was tall.
That's a choice. Yeah, but I think he looks better now.
For sure.
Yeah.
Katie, I mean, the Heat are sitting comfortably in that 9th spot again.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Can relate.
I went into this season with no expectation, very low, minimal expectations for the Heat. So the fact that they're even in this at all, and I am pleasantly surprised. Also, Tyler Hero's been out for a lot of the season. He was injured for a couple weeks, and so that was tough. And they hung in there, and I don't know, credit to Eric Spoelstra. That man is a wizard. I don't know how he does it, but he is such a good coach.
One of the longest tenured in the league.
I know.
I think the longest tenured.
One of the winningest. It's crazy. He's amazing. And so I'm just happy to be here.
Along
this
for the ride,
season,
yeah.
I'm like, you know what? You go out there and you do your best. And the thing that I am nervous about, and I know you wanted to talk about this, about trades and stuff, but I am nervous about the possibility. Well, I don't know. I'm nervous and / excited maybe about the Ja trade. Ja for Hero is something that people have talked about.
Interesting. Yeah,
I really.
Ja conversations are currently in all directions. There is not a single like Trae Young getting traded this past week is everyone knew he's going to the Wizards. Obviously, it's a done deal, and it happened.
It's so weird.
But Ja could be going to the he could be going to the Bucks. He could be going to the Raptors. That's a big There's so many different directions this could go. He could go to the Kings. It's hard to know.
It does feel like a real. Ja just really feels like he could be a Kings point guard, doesn't he?
It feels right.
It feels a little too right, and feels like something that it just feels like a trade that Vivek does. Or you're just don't know why, but God bless you, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to know. You, Katie.
Yeah.
So I mean, what also with the Heat is, how are you what is going on with Bam? Because I feel like he's not bad, but he just isn't the all-star guy he was, and it's just he's a fine player lately.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just a little too happy with Asia Wilson. He's
enjoying her success.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, enjoying her success.
Yes.
She's crushing
Close
it.
enough.
But I don't know. I don't know. And I have him on my fantasy basketball team, so I am acutely aware of how good he can be, and I know that he is not living up to how skilled he is as a player. Because when he's like focused and together, he's, in my opinion, one of the best players in the league. Like he is a great two-way player, like one of the best like defenders. Like, so much energy, so smart, has like a great like basketball IQ. Yeah. And, he gave us like one of the most legendary blocks in all of NBA playoff history against Jason Tatum that I think about all the time and puts a smile on my face.
Yeah.
So I hope he gets back to that place.
For sure. And I mean, the Heat right now are, like I said, they're sitting at 9, and it's kind of crazy that for the third year in a row, it's Heat, Bulls, Hawks, 8, 9, 10, repeating the play-in every single year. Although with Trae being traded, I'm sure they will fall out of that.
Yeah. That's gonna change.
That seems like the intention, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what they would love.
Yeah.
But we can always, Katie, we can always count on a play-in matchup between the Bulls and the Heat.
We'll see.
Yeah. Yep.
It's becoming a nice little tradition.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll climb back up, like I think Hero is back now, so maybe they'll get their mojo back and get a better position, but better seating.
I'm glad you can have that confidence.
I'm unfortunately an optimist, so
yeah,
I got to.
For sure. Yeah, so we mentioned Trae Young getting traded to the Wizards. How do you guys feel about that, Evan? I don't know if you have any thoughts on the trade and how that operates. Obviously, we talked about the Hawks, but like, how does that work with the Wizards? Is it good for them in the end?
I mean, in the moment, it does feel like very much of like a whimper of a trade. And a part of me seeing it was definitely like chuckled a little bit to be like, all right, like Trae, you talk all that shit and you're worth CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. Like, fuck you too. Goodbye.
Right.
That said,
it feels like a kind of a same situation.
Yeah. It doesn't seem. It feels very lateral. I mean, they've already said.
You can argue it's a step down.
It is.
I mean, yeah. I feel like.
I don't even say it's lateral.
Well, I feel like the idea.
Go ahead.
The idea of the future, maybe, I think, is what it.
That's where I was getting at. Yeah, I think there's hope that you have Sarr, who's young, there's certainly some potential there. And if they are bad enough the rest of the season, there's potential to get AJ Dubonsa, who is supposed to be a very good player, potentially that Cooper Flag elite slasher kind of guy.
Right. And so, I mean, I think the idea, and they've already said that Trae is not going to be playing much. Sure. So I imagine that was part of what they talked about, was that them hopefully being bad enough, or at least not letting him play enough to where they accidentally mess up their draft stock, and or potentially the protected pick might go to the Knicks at a certain draft spot, and I can't remember which one it is. But if they're, I would imagine they're trying to be bad enough to get one of those top guys, probably AJ, and then you have like a young core with Trae Young. And if for Trae, I guess like he is a player option, right? So if they do fuck it up, I guess he could theoretically bail, but my guess is he's probably not, because the player option's worth like $50 million or something like that. So I can't imagine he's walking away.
I don't know that he has been able to play consistently enough to bet on himself,
totally,
especially in the past 2 years. I know at one point he certainly could.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I feel like this trade kind of proves that whatever market he maybe thought there was for him a couple of years ago is not there anymore. But yeah, I mean, as a Knicks fan, it does bring me a little bit of joy to watch him. Watch it go into this type of trade. I was thinking, because I was one of the best moments of my Knicks fandom and pride in my life over the last chunk of years. So I was at the 2021 game 2, that playoff game. It was, I mean, it was the Knicks. It was the first time they'd been in the playoffs in a very long time, in like a decade. They lost game 1, but I was able to go to game 2, and that was the game that we won. And being outside the Garden after that win, and just like tens upon thousands of people screaming "fuck Trae Young" was a real beautiful and community building moment. So yeah, I have a lot of close memories attached to them, man, and
Sure.
to see him potentially, like wither in Washington doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I don't know.
I mean,
I feel
maybe
like
he'll
I'll
be
see him. I'll see him less when if he's playing in Washington, because I mean, there's certainly not. I'm not playing him in the playoffs this year, and
right. I
probably
mean,
not playing him in
even
the
if they
playoffs next
do
year.
tank and draft someone like AJ, it's
Yeah.
still years before
Yeah,
they get to that spot, and at that point he's already starting to kind of
yeah. So I mean,
No.
over that peak.
That's why
you
it
know, if
doesn't make sense to
I'll
me.
see him when I see him,
Like,
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what? In the meantime, he can be kind of on his own and put up 45 shots a
That's
game, and
true.
like that's
That's
fine.
true. That's true. And maybe that's the idea too, that he can get back and just start putting up
Yeah.
insane good player, bad team numbers until he can get a contract elsewhere.
Katie, how how would you like to see John Morant in a Heat uniform?
mind. I wouldn't mind. I still like him. I think his I I feel like I could see him. I feel like I could see him in
very much in the
Miami.
same
I
way
think
that I could see him going to the Kings. I could very much see him going to the Heat as well. I just
I
I
could
just
see
don't know what you
him.
have to give up. If it is Hero, it's like I don't think it's worth it.
Don't do
I
that.
know. Then that's why I'm like I don't love that. I don't
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
So it just depends if depends if Riley is able to work some magic and you know keep most of the keep Bam and keep Hero and ideally Hawkes. I would also not like to. I feel like he's turned into like a valuable player who
He's
they've
also seems like a
developed.
clubhouse favorite. Like he's just like a fun guy to have
Yeah,
on their team.
I know. I really like him. So I would be really sad if they got rid of him. But or like he was like part of some trade for Ja. But
Sure.
yeah, so it just depends on like what they'd be giving up. But I could see him fitting in there.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
can
I
see him
think it
fitting
could
in
be like
culture wise in
mutually beneficial.
Miami.
Yeah. Oh, John's gonna love Miami.
Yeah,
Oh, I mean, well,
he'll
that's
love
If
almost
he
the
if
problem.
he
It's
loved
like I'm
Memphis,
like
he's
he
gonna
might love
love
it a
Miami.
little too much. I'm like,
Right.
maybe he's better off in Sacramento.
He can go see an
Less
athletics game for
temptation.
another year
Yeah.
and just hang out. I don't know.
So I guess it depends. But
Yeah, it's
yeah, it
I
depends.
mean,
I'm
I mean,
open though.
maybe, yeah, maybe the trade value gets low enough, because it seems like it's fairly low now, that you can get him for nothing crazy.
Hmm.
which is
Um,
crazy because he is, you know, at his best, like he is such a
he's
good
unbelievable.
player.
Yeah.
Really good. No, he can be an amazing player, and so yeah.
I think I think off the court stuff scares a lot of people away, and I get it.
Yeah. He's been injured too. He's
True.
had some injury
Yeah,
stuff. I
the
feel
injury.
like, but yeah, I mean, he's got to be able to get. You got to be able to get more for Ja than you would for Trey, though, right?
I
Like
would think
you
so.
gotta get
Oh
more.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah. I mean,
He's
like
because he's younger by a few years
he's
still.
yeah,
younger. He's younger too,
Yeah,
and yeah, yeah.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see where he ends up.
We'll
Maybe this time
see.
next week.
I'll watch
that's true.
what
Yeah, it's
happens.
Joe
very
watch live.
could be very soon.
Um, all right. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on and talking basketball and talking about the label. It's been really fun. I'm glad we finally got to do this.
I
Yeah,
know.
thanks so much.
Me too. Thanks for having
sure.
us.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
And yeah, so I think that's going to do it for this episode. Really appreciate you guys coming on. For everyone listening, if you want to support us on Patreon, we're at patreon.com/indiebasketball. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Blue Sky, or at Indie Basketball. Is there anything you guys, people should be checking out on your guys' end? Are there any artists that have some releases coming out?
Absolutely.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
Evan, go for it.
Sure. We have a new record coming out from Dirt Buyers, coming out February 6th, Dirt Buyer 3. We have next single is coming out, I think, on Wednesday. It's called Bullshit Fuck. If you need to bleep that, I apologize. But that record's out on the 6th. We just had a new single by Scarlet Ray, who's one of our newer artists. She had like a kind of a crazy Instagram viral moment, and she has a new song out called Best Waitress. We'll have new stuff out very shortly from other people who've already been on the label. Kells, Tasha, May Simona's EP coming out soon. Hasn't announced yet, so sorry if I leaked that there, Katie. But a lot of exciting things coming up. BayonetRecords.com. It's at Bayonet Records, pretty much anywhere you can find us. If you're in New York and you see me at a show, you can yell at me and I'll tell you stuff to listen to. Same goes for Katie. Come find me.
And you can get one of your punch cards.
Come get a punch card.
If you see Evan at a show 7 times, he will buy you a drink.
This is true.
Oh, sweet.
He has a punch card.
So come find me. I'll tell you about Bayonet Records and I'll buy you a drink.
Go. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.